how to profit more and sell your house fast in San Antonio. I'm going to give you 5 detailed tips you can take action on today to help you make that happen. Even if you are a for sale by owner or you have an inherited house that you don't want to deal with, you want to stick around until the end of this video, because my final tip that I have here is going to help you. Even if you skip all the first tips, you won't make as much money, but you will get the house sold. So our first tip is probably the most common tip, but it's the most common tip for a reason, and that is... Hey, it's Krishna. We'll get right back to the video. But if you are struggling to find your perfect home still, for whatever reason, maybe you're late to the party, it's multiple offers, short inventory, whatever the reason is, and you're ready, willing, and able to buy a home, check out My Perfect Home Finder service. There is a link on the page and the video. Just check that out. If you're an investor, there's another link for you. Please don't use the Perfect Home Finder service if you are an investor or flipper. Back to the video. Curb appeal. The exterior of your home is the very first thing people are going to see. Having a great curb appeal returns the most value and speeds up the sale. I don't care if you are selling a home that's an estate sale, you've been living there 20 years, or if you're for sale by owner. Curb appeal is king at getting people to actually go look at your house. When you have your photography done of your home, the good and the bad will be magnified and either invite people to or deter them. So don't skip this step if you can help it. So what are some curb appeal projects to consider? Number 1 is roof replacement. And I know that's a big one to consider when you're looking at the cost. But here in San Antonio, we have hail and wind damage that happens all the time. And a lot of homeowners are stunned to find out that they can get their roof replaced at little to no cost, depending on the deductible and plan they have. For up to 2 years after a weather event that has happened, even if you have switched insurance, that's right, your old insurance company is still on the hook if a weather event happened during the contract period, even after you cancel. I've been doing this over 15 years and gone through several of these on the buyer side and the seller side. Contacting a reputable local roofing company is your best bet to successfully getting your insurance company to replace your roof. Time sensitive, you have days, weeks, even months sometimes. So if you're considering selling your home, you want to get on this really quickly. It will dramatically enhance the way your house looks and entice buyers to make offers, because it's one of the most worrisome items that buyers have when considering a house. Heck, if you get your roof replaced, you might not even want to move, so get on that. And I can't emphasize enough getting a roofer involved in the beginning of a claim. They know how the game works and what buttons to push for the insurance to pay up. Now, another project here in curb appeal is painting the exterior of the house. And right next to having a roof that doesn't leak over their heads, consumers don't want to deal with a grimy looking house. Painting helps the house stand out and look fresh, and helps mitigate any chance of last minute lender required repairs. If the outside of the house has any damage, you want to get that taken care of. Now, other projects to consider include trimming the trees, trimming the hedges, adding mulch around trees, shrubs, filling in bare spots in lawns, washing windows, fixing up mailboxes, repairing fences, and really anything that you can see from the street view of your home. You can tackle this on your own, or hire professionals for maximum results. The next tip on the list to help you sell your home fast is going to be tackling deferred maintenance. Deferred maintenance tells home buyers a story about your house. If they walk up to the house and the faucet outside is leaking, that's deferred maintenance. If they open the door in to your house and it drags, that's deferred maintenance. If there is a hole in the wall that hasn't been fixed, it's more deferred maintenance. The faucet in the kitchen leaks, more deferred maintenance. All those little things and many more tell the buyers that the house has not been cared for and other problems probably are lurking for them to find. So you want to tackle as many of these obvious deferred maintenance items as you can. You can do this on your own again, or you can hire a handyman to tackle a list in no time. It really just depends on how busy you are and how handy you are and how much time you have there. So, and lastly, in deferred maintenance, here in San Antonio, we do have expansive soils, and therefore we tend to have settling cracks that can form inside the house. If you have already determined that these settling cracks are normal with the help of an engineer, I would recommend having them fixed, especially if the house needs a refresh on interior paint anyway. Painting the interior with neutral colors not only gives your house a fresh look, but also helps the home smell fresher, especially if you have pets. Disclosing any normal settling is key when fixing the cracks. You don't want angry buyers after the sale, so be sure to disclose. Our third tip here today is packing and decluttering small items out of your house. You want to remember that you are selling space. I don't care if it is the space in your backyard, the space in your living room, kitchen, it doesn't matter. Taking and packing up small items reduces the look of clutter in the house. It makes any space that you're dealing with feel bigger. Okay? You don't need to take everything and pack it up, but you want to take most of the small things and pack them up, especially in the kitchen. You know, that junk drawer that you have, you need to get rid of it. The closet that's overflowing with clothes coming out of it, you've got to pare that down. And if at all possible, and you don't want this stuff that you're packing up at the end in your garage, that's really a last resort if money is really tight. So you can store it off premises if possible, or in a storage container, because people want to envision, even in the garage, the space that they're going to be buying. Okay, if they see that you're bursting at the seams with stuff, well, they're going to think, well, maybe this house is too small for us. These folks can't even live here themselves without things overflowing. So you don't want that to be a distraction when people are looking at your home. And again, you can hire a stager to help you with this, or you can do it yourself. And our fourth tip here today for selling your home faster is pricing it right. If you have done all the steps prior to pricing your home correctly, don't be afraid to price your home at suggested market value or even slightly under the market value. I know it sounds scary to price your home slightly under market value, but the reality is that buyers can smell an overpriced home from a mile away. You know, so these days, before they go to bed, they're scrolling on their phone, looking at homes. When they wake up and they're eating their breakfast, guess what? They're on their phones. They're scrolling, looking at homes. So they're pricing these homes. But when you price your home accordingly to the market, or even slightly under that, it will entice buyers not only to come look at your home, but even reward you with over asking price offers because of all the work that you've done. And so please do not mitigate all that hard work and getting your house ready by overpricing it. The longer the house sits on the market, the more people start to wonder, what's wrong with this house? Why hasn't it sold yet? Are there hidden defects that I don't know about? Maybe we should make a really low offer just in case. Finally, the last and really one of the most powerful tips in how to profit more and sell your house fast in San Antonio is marketing to the right people by targeting them. And there are two methods to targeting. You can actively target them, which we'll talk about first, or you can passively target them. It doesn't matter if you are a for sale by owner. It doesn't matter if you are selling as is to an investor. It doesn't matter if you have a much newer home, and it doesn't matter if you live there for 30 years. Okay, marketing to the right people through targeting is going to yield you the best results. So how do we do that? The first step in marketing to the right people through targeting is identifying who the most likely buyer for your house is. You can do this with a scratch piece of paper and a half an hour at your kitchen table. The easiest method is to write down all the reasons that you bought the house in the first place. That's a good start. Okay? Do you live in a one-story home? Who are the most likely buyers for a one-story home? Do you have a big backyard or a tiny backyard? Who's the most likely buyer for that? Do you have a covered patio? Is the most likely buyer an investor? Should you sell your home to an investor? I'll leave the answer to that one as an extra bonus at the end here, so stay with me. Consider all those things to come up with your ideal home buyer, okay? Pretend they're not even looking at Zillow right now. They're not going to realtor.com right now, but they've been thinking about buying a house and they just haven't re-engaged in the process of looking for a house, okay? That's why you're doing this, okay? We're going after those people. The second step in this marketing process is identifying how much income a buyer today would need to buy your house. This is a great question to ask a loan officer. Just say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Loan Officer, I'm selling my house for $350,000. How much income would today's typical home buyer need to make in order to afford my house? Now, they can give you a couple of different answers with some different variables, like how many cars that person has, or if they have student loans or not, maybe even what kind of professions in the area most typically make that money. But the answer you're really looking for is a range of income. That's the most important thing, because you don't want to market to people that can't afford to buy your house in the first place. Naturally, people are going to find your house if you are listed online, and you're going to still get some people that can't afford to buy it, okay? You want to make sure that you are targeting those that can most likely afford your house and most likely want your house, okay? Now, the final step in the marketing is to the right people in the right income bracket is to actually let them know about your house. Statistically, there is about a 60% chance that the next owner of your home already lives within 3 to 5 miles of your home. You need to reach those people. You can do this by purchasing a list from a list broker. These list brokers can be found online, and they allow you to actually, in some cases, do a radius search around your house and find people that make the right kind of money, maybe even own their house in cash and are looking to make a move, or can possibly afford to buy your house without selling their house first. Those are the sweetest buyers that you want to go after. After you have a list of addresses, you can then send postcards to these people. Okay, coming soon, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-story, close to the high school. There's an endless number of headlines that you can use here, but your headlines are going to match what you did in the first section, which is identify your ideal buyer for the house, okay? Of course, you want to word everything so that you're not accused of being discriminatory or anything of that nature, but you want to highlight those benefits that are important to the person that you identified in step 1. If you don't want to buy a list of targeted individuals that make certain amount of income or anything like that, you can always do just an every door direct method. And this method allows you to target an entire neighborhood or even an apartment. And you have to, now you do have to target the entire neighborhood because it's every door direct mail, okay? You can do this at the US Post Office website or various other online postcard companies. Just upload your postcard creative, find a neighborhood where your ideal home buyer is most likely coming from. Maybe your neighborhood that you're in is close to the high school, and you want to target homeowners and renters that are in the neighborhood that probably have small kids and are looking to move up into a neighborhood like yours closer to the high school. That's a good targeting approach, okay? If you don't want to buy a list, okay? Or if you are in a starter home and you've determined that your ideal buyer will come from a couple neighboring apartment complexes, okay? Maybe they're first-time buyers. There are several options like that, okay? Now, if you decide to buy a list online, marketing options, one of the best marketing options is Facebook. There are so many people on Facebook that it's actually really almost mandatory that you market your house on Facebook these days, at least for now, okay? Facebook will give you the ability to put your house in front of the right people every time they log in, okay? You don't want to be annoying, of course, but you want to be consistent and have your home in front of the people that can actually afford it and have a high likelihood of actually needing your house, okay? If you don't do this approach, or even if you do this approach, you also want to make sure that whatever platform you're on, whether you're a buy owner and you're just putting it on Zillow, or if you have it listed and you want to make sure that things that are important to the people that you have determined are most likely to buy your home are highlighted, okay? Highlighted in the description of the listing, okay? Because whether that's Zillow or Realtor.com, wherever you decide to list your property, you've done this work, and they are searching and using keywords to find your house, okay? Make sure the verbiage conveys the message to those people, because at least the people that are looking online will use those keywords that lead them to discovering your house. That's the passive approach, okay? Now, as promised, I want to address the distressed homeowners, okay? If you have determined without a doubt that your house is most suited for an investor offer, then you want to actually target them first, okay? Why do we want to target them first? Because investors are not all the same, okay? You have wholesalers, you have end buyer investors. Wholesalers are not actually going to do anything with your property except sell the contract, okay, to somebody. So that means you are going to miss out on a boatload of equity, okay, much higher than any commissions typically, okay? And oftentimes the homeowners have no idea how much other investors would be willing to actually pay for their house. One way to target investors is to get your real estate agent to make contact with the active investors in the area. Okay, I can do this. Your next door neighbor real estate agent, hopefully they can do this. It's in minutes, okay? They can draw a radius around your house and find any and all investors that have multiple properties in the area, maybe as rentals or fix and flips. All that data is readily available through the MLS, okay? I'm sure you can find a list broker online out there if you're a for sale by owner and you want to do it yourself. I don't have a list broker to recommend right now, but I'm sure they're out there, and you can find a broker that has a list of real estate investors in the area. And you want to do this because you want to create competition amongst the investors for your house, okay? You want a bidding war there, okay? When you have competition amongst investors, the investors that are willing to pay more, typically the rental investors, they want to buy your house and they're willing to pay more because they don't need to cash out in 5 minutes like a wholesaler. Okay, either way, whether you're selling to a retail buyer that's going to live in the house, or if you're selling to an investor, you should be trying to get the most money as possible from your house. Okay, and targeting multiple investors is the best way to do that. Okay, so you get multiple offers. Well, folks, I hope this was helpful and gives you some actionable information that you can use to profit more and sell your house fast in San Antonio. If you have any questions, you can always reach out here. My phone number, 210-260-6617. Thanks a bunch for watching, and God bless.